I've stripped the bulkhead of the heater. Most of its equipment I've loosened off the clutch and the brake towers so I can get under those, and so it's generally fairly clear all the way around. So now I'm going to start cutting some of the rot out. I've got the patch tacked in now, and just hammered so it's lined up and straight, and the next job is to fully weld it in. So I've finished the welding on this side, and just need to run it over with a flat disc and clean it up, and then it's time for priming and painting. So I'm starting to work on the other side now, because it's got a pretty big hole in there, sort of peppered there. There's a lot of rust in here, and there's a hole in the back in this main bit of bulkhead here, so I'm going to have to cut this section out and replace it and rebuild this and then re-weld this on, to make sure I get that back in the right place. I've cobbled up this rather ugly looking bracket here just to locate that, so when I chop it down here and out I can put this bracket back in the right place. So better start chopping. So I've cut the rotten parts of this out. You can see where it rusted all the way through the stiffener behind the windscreen support, and you can also see where it's rusted all the way through to the back. In there is okay, just needs a good clean up. And then we have our locating bracket that I'll chop off at the end once we've welded it all back together again. Here's a view from the back side. See the bracket there, and the corrosion that's gone all the way through there. So here's the bracket that I chopped off. You can see the corrosion around there in the back of that plate. So I'll take this back plate off, and then I think I'll have to rebuild this and grind it flush, and then probably TIG weld this back on. I've now finished chopping all the rot out here, so I've taken this stiffened section out that I'll replace, and I've also cut this bit out here. Remember there was those two holes in this location, so we'll have to weld in some replacement bits there. I've cleaned up the windscreen support bracket and tacked some patches in place where the holes were. So now I'm going to fully weld this up and then file it off flush, and hopefully I won't have to do too much filling to make it look okay. This is the repair bracket ready to be TIG welded back onto the bulkhead. I've fitted the patch and I've tacked the patch in place, so now we just need to finish weld the patch. So there's a couple of holes there to plug weld through. I've left a decent gap there to make sure the weld penetrates through the bottom layer. There's naturally a fairly big gap there, and then there's two plug weld holes there. I'll weld this up and then trim it back, and then we'll probably slot in some reinforcing top and bottom to make sure that this area is stiff, and I'll do that on the other side as well. The patch is now fully welded, so I'll grind it off and then try and fit the bracket next. So having fully welded up the patch, I've tacked on the windscreen bracket and then just dry fitted the windscreen to check all the clearances and everything look kind of even. So now it's time to fully weld that up. So this is the bulkhead finally welded up, sanded down, and just small divots left filled. I've sanded down the rest of the exposed metalwork as well, and just generally giving it a good wire brush over. I've also seam sealed all the joints, as you can see there. So next job on this is a coat of etch primer, coat of undercoat, and then final spray.